Welcome back to the channel, Coin Hunters and Treasure Seekers. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American history, the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, a coin that carries the legacy of Dwight D. Eisenhower and the spirit of a powerful era. If you've ever come across this coin in your collection, your pocket, or even an old family box, then you're going to want to watch this closely. In this video, we'll explore the real story behind the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, especially those with no mint mark and even in worn condition. Could this common-looking coin actually hold surprising value? Is it possible that a simple copper coin could be worth far more than you think? We're going to break it all down in a simple and exciting way. The 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin carries a sense of bold American history, a tribute to leadership, legacy, and the spirit of a nation that once reached for the moon. Featuring the powerful portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse, this coin is more than metal. It is a symbol of an era defined by strength and transformation. For collectors and dreamers alike, even a worn 1974 Eisenhower dollar can feel like holding a piece of time itself, whispering stories from decades past. Now, when we talk about value, it's important to understand the truth behind the excitement. Most 1974 Eisenhower dollars, especially those without a mint mark and in circulated or worn condition, were struck in copper-nickel-clad composition and are quite common. These coins were minted in large numbers in Philadelphia, meaning that many examples still exist today. In typical worn condition, their market value is usually close to face value or slightly above, depending on preservation and collector demand. However, the story becomes far more interesting when condition improves. Coins that have been preserved in uncirculated or near-perfect condition can command higher prices. The difference between a worn coin and a mint-state specimen can be dramatic. Luster, strike sharpness, and surface preservation all play a critical role in determining whether a coin remains ordinary or becomes extraordinary. Collectors also pay close attention to special finishes. Some 1974 Eisenhower dollars were produced as proof coins, primarily in San Francisco, often containing 40% silver. These versions are distinct from the regular copper-nickel circulation coins and can be worth significantly more, especially if they remain in their original packaging or exhibit deep cameo contrast. But what truly fuels the imagination are rare errors and unusual varieties. Occasionally, coins leave the mint with striking mistakes, off-center strikes, doubled dies, or planchet errors. These rare anomalies can transform an otherwise common coin into a highly desirable collectible. In the world of numismatics, it is often these imperfections that create the greatest value. Still, it's crucial to address the widespread belief that a 1974 Eisenhower dollar in worn condition could be worth millions. In reality, no verified example of a standard 1974 copper-nickel Eisenhower dollar has ever reached such extraordinary prices. Claims of overnight billionaires from a single common coin are often exaggerated or misleading. True high-value coins are rare, well-documented, and usually in exceptional condition. That said, there have been instances where unique or nearly flawless coins have sold for impressive amounts at auctions. High-grade examples graded by professional services can sometimes reach into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These are coins that have survived decades without significant wear, maintaining their original brilliance and detail. The historical significance of the Eisenhower dollar adds emotional and collectible value. Introduced in 1971, this coin honored both President Eisenhower and the Apollo 11 mission, symbolized by the eagle landing on the moon on the reverse. This connection to space exploration gives the coin a special place in American numismatic history. For collectors, the thrill is not just in monetary value but in discovery. Searching through old coin collections, inherited boxes, or even everyday change can lead to surprising finds. While most 1974 Eisenhower dollars will not make you rich, the excitement of the hunt keeps the passion alive. Condition grading is another key factor that determines value. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a scale, often from poor to mint state 70. A worn coin might fall into the lower grades, significantly limiting its value. However, even a small improvement in condition can increase desirability among collectors. If you own a 1974 Eisenhower dollar, it's worth taking a closer look. Examine the coin under good lighting. Look for unusual features, sharp details, or anything that seems out of the ordinary. Even subtle differences can sometimes indicate a more valuable variety. Storage and preservation also matter. Coins that are protected from moisture, scratches, and environmental damage tend to retain their value better over time. A coin kept in a safe holder can remain attractive to collectors for decades. In the end, while the dream of finding $1 million coin is exciting, it's important to stay grounded in reality. The true value of a 1974 Eisenhower dollar, especially a worn, no-mint mark copper coin, is usually modest. Yet its historical importance and collectible appeal make it a meaningful piece to own. So before you rush to sell or spend your coin, take a moment to appreciate what it represents. It may not make you a billionaire overnight, but it connects you to history, to craftsmanship, and to a fascinating world of collecting where every coin has a story waiting to be told. The next up, top 2, the story of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar is not just about a coin. It's about the final chapter of a bold American experiment in large-sized dollar currency. Introduced in 1971 and ending in 1978, the Eisenhower dollar was the last big heavy dollar coin ever produced for circulation in the United States. Named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, this coin carries both historical pride and collector curiosity. But when it comes to turning someone into an overnight millionaire, the truth is far more grounded and far more interesting. The 1978 issue marked the final year of the Eisenhower dollar series. Millions were struck, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why many coins from this year appear without a mint mark. These no-mint mark coins are completely normal and not rare by default. In worn or circulated condition, most 1978 Eisenhower dollars are valued only slightly above face value, typically between $1 and $3 depending on condition. That means the average coin in your pocket is not secretly worth millions, no matter how exciting that idea sounds. However, not all coins are created equal. The real value comes from condition, rarity, and special characteristics. A 1978 Eisenhower dollar in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint, fetch much higher prices. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services become significantly more desirable. In rare cases, top-grade specimens can reach hundreds or even a few $1,000s, but this is only for coins that are nearly flawless. There's also a big difference between standard copper-nickel-clad coins and the special 40% silver versions. Most 1978 Eisenhower dollars were made for circulation using a copper-nickel composition, which gives them that familiar silvery look but with a copper core. These are the coins most people have. Silver versions, however, were typically made for collectors in special mint sets and carry more value due to their metal content and limited production. Now let's talk about the dream, the idea that a worn coin could make you a billionaire overnight. While it's a powerful and exciting narrative, it's not based on real market behavior. No 1978 Eisenhower dollar, especially in worn condition, has ever sold for millions of dollars. Even the rarest examples of this coin type do not reach anywhere near that level. The coin market is driven by scarcity, demand, and condition, not myths or viral claims. That said, there are still hidden treasures to look for. Some Eisenhower dollars have errors, small minting mistakes that can increase value. These include doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet errors. If your coin has something visually unusual, it might be worth having it examined by a professional. Error coins are one area where unexpected value can sometimes appear. The design itself adds to the coin's appeal. The obverse features Eisenhower's portrait, while the reverse design was inspired by the Apollo 11 moon landing, showing an eagle landing on the moon. This connection to space exploration makes the coin especially meaningful for collectors who appreciate both political and scientific history. Collectors often value coins not just for money, but for the story they tell. The Eisenhower dollar represents a time when the United States tried to bring back large dollar coins into everyday use, but ultimately the public found them too bulky. By 1979, the government switched to the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar, ending the Eisenhower era. If you have a 1978 Eisenhower dollar, the best thing you can do is carefully examine its condition. Look for sharp details, minimal scratches, and original luster. Avoid cleaning the coin as this can reduce its value significantly. If you believe your coin is in exceptional condition, consider getting it graded by a professional service like Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. Another important factor is storage. Keeping your coin in a protective holder can preserve its condition over time. Exposure to air, moisture, and handling can all reduce a coin's quality. Even a small improvement in condition can make a big difference in value for collectors. The idea of copper good condition often confuses people. All regular Eisenhower dollars have a copper core visible on the edge. This does not make them rare, it's simply how they were made. Only the special silver issues differ in composition, and those are usually clearly identified as collector coins. It's also important to stay realistic while staying curious. Coin collecting can absolutely be profitable, but it's usually a slow and informed journey rather than an overnight transformation. The real reward comes from knowledge, patience, and the thrill of discovery, not just the price tag. So, is your 1978 Eisenhower dollar a hidden fortune? Probably not, but it could still be a valuable piece of history. And in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the story behind the coin is worth just as much as the coin itself. In the end, don't let exaggerated claims mislead you, but don't ignore your coins either. Check them, learn about them, and appreciate them. Because while this coin may not make you a billionaire overnight, it can still connect you to a powerful moment in history, and that's something money alone can't buy. The next up, top 3. The 1977 $1 coin from the United States, famously known as the Eisenhower Dollar, carries a powerful presence in the world of coin collecting, but not for the reasons many viral stories claim. This coin honoring Dwight D. Eisenhower represents both history and artistry, yet its true value depends on realism, not myths of overnight billions. If you hold one of these coins today, especially in worn condition, you are holding a piece of American history but not a guaranteed fortune. The 1977 Eisenhower dollar was minted in large numbers at the United States Mint. These coins were produced primarily in copper-nickel-clad composition, not pure copper or silver unless they were special collector issues. When a coin has no mint mark, it usually means it was struck in Philadelphia, which produced millions upon millions of these coins. That fact alone limits their rarity in circulated condition. In worn or circulated condition, a 1977 Eisenhower dollar typically carries only a small premium above its face value. The details on Dwight D. Eisenhower's face become softer, the lettering fades slightly, and the coin loses its original shine. Collectors call this circulated condition, and while it still has value, it is usually modest, often just a few dollars depending on how worn it is. However, there is a fascinating twist that keeps collectors searching. Certain high-grade versions of the 1977 Eisenhower dollar, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, can sell for significantly higher amounts. These coins are extremely well preserved, showing almost no signs of wear. In rare cases, pristine examples can reach hundreds or even over $1,000, but these are exceptional, not common finds in everyday circulation. Another factor that can increase value is minting errors. Coins with striking errors, off-center designs, or unusual die varieties can become highly collectible. If your 1977 Eisenhower dollar shows any unusual markings, doubling, or irregularities, it could be worth more than a standard circulated coin. These are the hidden treasures that collectors dream of discovering. The idea that a worn 1977 Eisenhower dollar without a mint mark could make someone a billionaire overnight is simply not grounded in reality. No verified sale in history supports such a claim. Even the rarest Eisenhower dollars have not reached millions, let alone billions. It is important to separate excitement from facts when dealing with coin values. That said, coins do carry emotional and historical value beyond money. The Eisenhower dollar was the last large-sized dollar coin issued for circulation in the United States. It connects collectors to an era of change, reflecting both the legacy of Dwight D. Eisenhower and the spirit of American space exploration, symbolized by the eagle landing on the moon design on the reverse. Collectors often examine details such as luster, strike quality, and surface marks. A coin that appears good to the naked eye may still fall into a lower grade when professionally evaluated. Services like grading companies can authenticate and assign a condition score, which plays a huge role in determining value. If your coin appears copper-colored, it is usually due to wear exposing the underlying layers of the clad composition, not because it is a rare copper version. True mint errors involving composition are extremely rare and require professional verification. Many people mistakenly believe color changes mean rarity, but that is not always the case. Still, the excitement of holding an old coin can feel like holding a hidden secret. The weight, the design, and the history create a sense of mystery. What if it's rare? What if it's special? These questions drive the passion of collectors worldwide, even when the answer is often more modest than imagined. The real power of a 1977 Eisenhower dollar lies in knowledge. Understanding mint marks, condition grades, and authentic errors gives you the ability to identify true value. Without this knowledge, it is easy to fall into exaggerated claims that promise life-changing wealth from common coins. If you truly believe your coin is special, the best step is to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. They can confirm authenticity, condition, and any unique characteristics. This is how serious collectors determine whether a coin is ordinary or extraordinary. In the end, the 1977 Eisenhower dollar is not a ticket to instant riches, but it is a genuine piece of history. It tells a story of leadership, legacy, and a time when the United States honored one of its most respected figures through currency. That alone gives it lasting significance. So keep your coin safe, learn about it, and appreciate what it represents. While it may not make you a billionaire overnight, it can still be valuable in its own right, both financially and historically. And sometimes, the true treasure is not the price tag, but the story the coin carries through time. Next up top for the 1972 United States Eisenhower $1 coin carries a special place in numismatic history, not because it will secretly make someone a billionaire overnight, but because it represents a fascinating era of American coinage and a design that honored a former president and war hero. When people first come across a 1972 Eisenhower dollar, especially one with an S mint mark, they often feel a rush of excitement, imagining hidden wealth. That excitement is understandable, but the real story behind this coin is even more interesting than the myths. The Eisenhower Dollar series was produced from 1971 to 1978, and the 1972 issue stands out because of subtle design varieties and different compositions. Coins minted in San Francisco with the S mark were typically made in a special 40% silver composition for collectors, while others were clad coins made mainly of copper and nickel. If your coin has a copper appearance on the edge, it is likely a clad version rather than silver, which significantly affects its value. Many people believe that even worn Eisenhower dollars can be worth millions, but in reality, condition plays a crucial role. A worn 1972 S coin, even if genuine, usually holds modest value compared to pristine examples. Circulated coins often show scratches, fatting details, and dull surfaces, which reduce their desirability among collectors. However, even worn coins can still be collectible and historically meaningful. The most valuable 1972 Eisenhower dollars are not simply those with an S mint mark, but those in exceptional condition or with rare varieties. For example, certain 1972 coins struck in Philadelphia have different reverse designs known as Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. Among these, the Type 2 reverse is particularly scarce and highly sought after. This is where real value begins to rise, not from myths, but from rarity and demand. San Francisco S mint coins are often found as proof coins, which means they were specially struck with polished dies to create a mirror-like finish. These coins were not intended for circulation, so finding one in worn condition suggests it may have been mishandled or circulated later. Even so, proof coins can still carry a premium if their details remain visible and attractive. It is important to understand that the idea of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single 1972 Eisenhower dollar is more fantasy than fact. The coin market does produce high-value sales, but those usually involve extremely rare errors, perfect-grade coins, or historically significant pieces. Most 1972 Eisenhower dollars, even in good condition, are valued in a much more realistic range. That said, there are exceptions that keep collectors searching. Coins with striking errors such as double strikes, off-center designs, or missing elements can sometimes fetch impressive prices. These errors are rare because the minting process is carefully controlled, but when they do occur, they become highly desirable to collectors who appreciate uniqueness. Another factor that can increase value is grading. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on their condition, assigning them a score on a scale. A coin graded near perfect can be worth significantly more than the same coin in worn condition. This is why collectors handle coins carefully and store them properly to preserve their quality. Even if your coin is worn, it still holds educational and historical value. The Eisenhower dollar was the last large-sized dollar coin produced for circulation in the United States, making it a symbol of a transition period in coinage. Holding one connects you to a time when coins were larger, heavier, and carried a different presence in everyday life. The design itself is meaningful as well. The obverse features President Dwight D. Eisenhower, while the reverse shows an eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission. This connection to space exploration adds another layer of significance that goes beyond simple monetary value. Collectors often emphasize patience and knowledge over hype. Instead of expecting instant wealth, successful collectors study mint marks, varieties, and conditions. They learn how to identify genuine rarities and avoid common misconceptions that can lead to disappointment. If you believe your 1972 Eisenhower dollar might be special, the best step is to have it examined by an expert or a reputable coin dealer. They can confirm whether it is silver or clad, identify any rare features, and provide a realistic estimate of its value. This approach is far more reliable than relying on exaggerated claims. The truth is, coins like the 1972 Eisenhower dollar do have the power to change fortunes, but not through myths or overnight miracles. Instead, they reward knowledge, patience, and a genuine appreciation for history. Some collectors have indeed made significant profits, but only after years of dedication and careful study. So, while your coin may not instantly make you a billionaire, it could still be a valuable piece of history sitting right in your hand. Treat it with care, learn about its story, and explore its details. Sometimes, the real treasure isn't just the price, it's the journey of discovering what makes that coin truly special.